It appears that someone in the house has broken quarantine. A hair was found in the car that surely belongs to whoever is the culprit. An eyewitness saw the whole thing.
I was in the kitchen, and through the blinds, I saw a dark figure get in the car and drive away. Who would do such a thing? Like, hello, there's a global pandemic.
Let's take a look at our suspects: Dad, Allison, Carson, and Macy. The DNA from the hair found in the car was amplified using PCR and then went through gel electrophoresis to separate the DNA by size. DNA is loaded at the negative pole of the plate and migrates toward the positive region, with smaller fragments moving faster and farther than larger fragments. This allows us to see the DNA fingerprint of the hair and then compare it to the DNA fingerprint of a sample from each of our suspects. Looking at both of our loci, we can tell that Dad is a biological parent of Allison, Macy, and Carson, because in each locus they have a band in common, the bottom one. Looking at the first locus, we can compare the DNA fingerprints of our suspects to the DNA fingerprints of the hair found in the car. The witness does not match all the bands of the hair's DNA fingerprint, so the witness cannot have been the one to leave the hair. Suspect 1, Dad, does have a DNA fingerprint that matches the hair. You can see all three of his bands are in the same location as those of the hair. This means that he could have been the one to leave the hair in the car, and for now is a prime suspect. Suspect 2, Allison, does not have a DNA fingerprint that matches the hair, as you can see, so she could not have been the one to leave the hair in the car, and is therefore innocent. Moving on to Suspect 3, Carson. All three of Carson's bands match up to the DNA fingerprint of the hair, making Carson a prime suspect. Finally, Suspect 4, Macy. Macy's DNA fingerprint does not match up with the hair, so she too is innocent and could not have been the one to leave it in the car. So, after looking at our first locus, we have two suspects, Dad and Carson. Now for the second locus. We already know that the witness, Allison, and Macy are innocent because in order for someone to be guilty of leaving the hair in the car, and therefore breaking quarantine, they must match at both loci. So even though Allison's DNA fingerprint in locus 2 matches the hair, we already know it cannot be her because she was not a match in locus 1. Let's inspect our prime suspects. Dad's DNA fingerprint does not match the DNA fingerprint of the hair at locus 2, so he must be innocent. That only leaves Carson, and look at that, he is once again a perfect match. So, based on these gel electrophoresis plates, we can conclude that Carson is the one who left the hair in the car and the one who broke quarantine.
Carson, why did you do it?
Just cuz.